Ladies and gentlemen, we have an update for a previous post. This is an update for the Am I the Astronaut for telling my wife it was a mistake to stay at a baby shower. So I texted my coworker, let's call him Frank, and asked if we could talk so we meet up during our lunch break. I apologized for everything that happened. He kept telling me it's fine and being so nice about it, and that kind of made me feel worse. He said he has booked Mary a ticket back home for a week and that her sisters and friends were going to surprise her with another baby shower. I asked if he mind if my wife and I pay the expenses of the baby shower they were going to throw. He laughed and said no way, but that he appreciated it. We went back and forth a bit, but he eventually said he'd ask his sister-in-law how much she spends on everything and then would let me know and we can pay half of it. I spoke to my wife when I got home from work. She apologized for ignoring me and said she doesn't know why she behaves like this. She said she's embarrassed and said she can't bring herself to come to terms with how she behaved. We also spoke about the infertility thing. She said she thought her saying it out loud and discussing it with people would make it easier for her if she found out she was actually infertile because she would have already come to terms with it. I don't get it, but hey, at least she didn't dodge accountability this time and did acknowledge that it's wrong and needs to stop. It's slightly worrying to me how she sounds like a completely new person so often lately, almost like there are multiple versions of her who don't know each other. Yeah, let's go ahead and throw that red flag confetti now. I said I'm glad she now realizes it's wrong and asked her to send flowers or something with an apology note to Mary's house. I also mentioned that I offered to pay for the next baby shower and she told me to insist that she pays it all and not half. I said I'm fine with splitting it. She also said she would bake a cake and go to Mary personally to apologize. I told her Mary is leaving town for a week, so that it will have to wait till she gets back, but she did send a lengthy text with a sincere, in my opinion, text. Mary responded saying my wife didn't need to apologize and that she understands what happened, and thanked her for attending her baby shower. Mary also apologized for leaving without saying goodbye to my wife and the rest of the guests. You see how nice Mary and Frank are? We decided on both individual and couples therapy soon. Anyone know if it's okay to do them simultaneously? She wants to, but I'm not sure it's a great idea. It was a given that we would stop trying for a baby, so that's definitely on hold for now. So yeah, that's it for now, I guess. I've never been to therapy and neither has she, so I'm hoping this is the beginning of our relationship getting much healthier and our individual growths as well. Thank you so much to everyone who responded. My mind is blown by how many of you did. Hope you all have a great year. Let me just start off by clarifying that everything that I know about infertility and pregnancy is from firsthand experience with Candy Thunder. We had our own journey. Not just pulling anything out of thin air, it's information that we discussed. This is like an eerily happy ending, right? I mean, it's not an ending, of course, there's a long way to go, but like all good things are happening here and that makes me nervous. It's great that his coworker and his coworker's wife were so nice and that seems legitimate. I'm sure that they were irked by it a little bit. Mary had to have been irked by it a little bit, but is just as gracious as can be, and so is his coworker, Frank. So, cool. You guys dodged a bullet there, OP. What is going on with your lady is much more concerning. And your line here about it being slightly worrying how she sounds like a completely new person so often lately is definitely a red flag. You said there's almost like there are multiple versions of her who don't know each other. Even more red flags. So let's see. I mean, hopefully this sticks. Hopefully her realizing that it wasn't right and her wanting to make it right and wanting to do therapy to make sure it never happens again is a huge deal. Now, if you guys actually do end up confronting infertility, it is an extremely rigorous emotional journey, and it is going to be very tough on her, because she was already having a hard time before she was even infertile. So if you guys end up having any kind of difficulty in this, just know that the emotional stress it puts on her and thus puts on you guys it's going to test the limits of your relationship. It's going to test your love. It's going to test your attention. It's going to test everything about you. And making it through the journey of infertility to whatever point, if that ends up being IVF or whatever it is, making it through that is a gauntlet. I think it's great that you put everything on pause and that you're exploring therapy, because you are going to have all of that shit on lockdown before you start trying again. Before you start trying again, she's got to have a healthy way of coping with everything, and so do you. You have to have a healthy way of supporting each other through that, and it is not easy. Those kind of, so what if this happens, what if this happens, what if this happens, are discussions that you need to have now, because they're things that you need to acknowledge are possibilities and things that you need to have a plan in place for. You have to be able to make it through this and emotionally support each other, and if you don't have a plan on how you're going to do that when something happens, you're unprepared. And that is tough because you kind of have to go ahead and put yourself in that position. But your wife clearly doesn't have a problem doing that because she was already playing the infertile role before she was even infertile. So she should be able to put herself in that position. And you know how hard of a time she's going to have with that if it actually happens. So there's a lot of work to do right now. I'm glad that things are going so seemingly well for you. I'm really glad that your coworker and his wife were so cool about everything. There are still a lot of red flags for you and your wife. And I think therapy is a fantastic idea. It has to be taken 100% seriously. And there's a lot of hard work that's going to have to go into it. And it's not going to be like waving a magic wand that's going to make everything okay, because what comes next is going to be even harder than therapy, making it through whatever that journey is, if there is some kind of infertility issue. So just be prepared. Be prepared to do a lot of hard work. And it's going to be taxing and it's going to test your limits. I wish you guys the best. I know a lot of the people who watch these videos and comment have gone through that infertility journey or are going through it right now, and I feel for every single one of you because it is not easy. Maybe start building a support group that can be there for all of this so it's not just you two. It's going to be hard enough on you two as it is. That's making the assumption you guys actually enter some kind of infertility journey. You may not, but she's already having a hard time and you guys aren't even in that yet. So just do the therapy, do the work, start developing a support system, and start planning for anything. And good luck.